What is going on, guys and gals? Welcome into our stream today. I'm your host, LifeshifterX, also known as Tommy. We're going to be hosting a little bit of a Q&A, kind of a thing, checking out the Logitech Pro X2 Superstrike mouse. We're also going to be demoing it, like a little bit of the software features and stuff like that. I've got to spend a little bit of time with it in the last week and a half or so since they've launched it. And my God, this thing is a game changer. At least in terms of like if you care about your clicks, your FPS stuff, even just being able to tune like what you want. But along with all of that stuff, we're going to be also hosting a Logitech G giveaway, also just to celebrate everything that we've been doing lately. Also to just give something back to our community and hang out and do all that stuff. So, can it spin an Ishtar for me? Yes, it can. Absolutely. And it could do it with precise clicks, and then you could also do it with no click sound if you want, which is actually kind of cool. So there's some really cool features in it. I feel like all this stuff that's been coming out with like gaming peripherals and stuff today, obviously we've had a little bit of period of like, I would say not necessarily stagnation, but there's like, you get enhanced features of existing things that have already happened. Every once in a while, you'll have like these things that are coming out, and I feel like it's happening across the board, not with just like keyboards and mice and things like that, but like even streaming gear or like technology and how it supports everything and all that kind of stuff. But kind of going back to what it is today, we're going to be talking about this guy. Now, I already have it out of the box. So this is what you got, the Logitech Pro X2 Superstrike. So the big thing on these, it's got basically tunable strokes, like clicks in every sense of the, the meaning of it. There's a lot of really cool stuff that's going along with it. It's got the new hit system. You've got the rapid trigger system, all that kind of stuff. And to give you a little bit of an idea, so I have our other Pro X Superlight 2. Similar in style. You can kind of see they kept the same body of pretty much everything they were doing with it, but you get a little bit of an idea. This is the special color they released back in December. So we'll have some of that. I'll do a little bit of side-by-side of the mouse itself to give you all an idea of what we're looking at. So like, for example, the mouse itself. Now you can see I've got a little bit of use out of it. You've got your USB-C, pretty light. You've also got the power play stuff around the bottom of it, which is probably one of my favorite features. There's a whole myriad of different things. So like one of them last night, I was trying to see like, where is the real difference between like what you're doing with your standard mainline mouse versus everything else you're doing with like any other gaming mouse. Now, keeping in mind for me, my personal favorite mouse is the Logitech G502 Plus, X Plus. It has got like the most keys for everything that I want. I like the extra, the slowdown trigger, and also like rapid changing of your DPI, which you could also do an adjustment in the Pro X2 as well. But going on the Pro X2, the hit system, the rapid trigger system, the actuation point, which is probably some of the coolest things we'll talk about. Mr. Knight, G502 Hero right now. I'm curious to see how you like the Pro X2. Yeah, so right now, like, I am torn because I like features on both mice wonderfully. Now, if they blended the two mice together, it would hands down be one of the most perfect mice on the market. In terms of if you like something that gives you like your precise trigger clicks and adaptability and stuff like that. So like going back and reason why I'm saying this specifically, where the first actuation point feature came in for any gaming peripheral came in just a few years ago with SteelSeries, and they did the Apex Pro Series keyboards. You could actually tune your actuation points. So you didn't really have to press as hard down on the key to get the rapid trigger thing that you wanted. Game changer for me. I absolutely loved it. It gave me a unique sound, a unique feel, and all that kind of stuff. Now, Logitech, with how they've done the X2 Superstrike, same concept. Nobody has ever done this, in my opinion. At least not that I found. I actually had to go and like dig through it last night and try to see, like, is there anybody that's come anywhere close to this? It's something that's like actually pretty cool. I'm gonna try to do my best to give you all the sound differences when we're doing some of this. I'm gonna go show you all the software, show you what the hits feature stuff does, what the actuation point does, how that all works and looks, because I want to give you all a little bit more of information on how like the feature itself works. You know, like what is the thing that we're actually checking out? What is the thing that's going to drive you to buy this thing? It's $179 in the US. I don't know what it is in other markets, but you just have to look at the Logitech G website for that. If you want to check it out, you could actually use our discount code below, which actually works for it. If once it's back in stock, I think it's out of stock right now. But we can confirm that. Anyway, so let's go ahead and dig over. I'm going to just switch to my live screen here. It's going to go to my desktop where I've got everything kind of laid out. So this is my G Hub. This is what's going to, you know, kind of give us that little tell factor of everything. Minimize this thing. So you could see all your stuff in here. We're going to go straight into the Superstrike. So you could adjust everything. I'm going to go from top to bottom and straight up feature. So it gives you a little bit of everything of what you can look forward to. I have my stuff set up for 3 precisions right now. I kind of go on the 800 DPI range. I don't like anything that's like insanely fast, but you could obviously tweak it to whatever type of game that you want, regardless of what it is. You could sit there and do whatever in terms of your standard stuff, right? You could also do adaptive. You could do straight hero sensor calibration. I don't remember if this was on the other ones or not, but you can do it and it opens up a whole other thing. I chose not to calibrate because I don't really need a whole lot of calibration. For me personally, at least my style of gameplay, just for my preference. But I just stuck with first person for right now because like today we're going to be playing a first person shooter. We're going to go through Battlefield and test out how this all reacts. Now I have heard stories online about like if you use some of the other systems we're going to talk about later, like the rapid trigger and stuff like that, that is actually triggering bans in certain games because it's making the mouse click so fast that the game is thinking it's a cheat basically. So we don't want to get into that obviously, but we want to check it. You could also check out community presets. You could also copy your preset and actually make different ones. You could make it different ones based on the games you have. You could also make custom presets. You could also lock it. You can make it onboard memory. Pretty standard features. If you want to go in and get into your assignments, and you can actually do all kinds of different stuff with it. You could do all of the customization you want, which to me I think is actually a little bit newer in the Pro Series, at least the level of it. You can also do stuff with your B-hop sensitivity, which is something exclusive to the Pro Series. I don't have it on particularly because I don't need it. I don't want it. But where the money of everything is, this is one of the coolest features I've seen. This is where like the mouse actually changes the game for everybody. You can have your clicks, and you can kind of see on how far you click is how far like you want your actuation point. Now, if you go like I have mine down to I'm going to a short click, and you're going to see like I'm actually clicking faster or further down than what this thing is asking for, right? So I'm like, okay, so like the click actually registers at this point. And you could change it individually for both sides. You could do it for both left and right, or you can make it the other. So like for my right mouse button, I have it both left and right now. So regardless of where I'm clicking. So now if you're going to like, say if you're going to go adjust down, you're like, okay, I want a little bit longer of a click. See, like my click now is kind of at that point. So realistically, I want my clicks to register a little bit sooner. So you can have that go in there, and it works really good. One of my favorite features on it so far, hands down, that you can just adjust that actuation point of where you want it to hit. If you're real touchy and you're a little bit of a fumble fingers or something like that, you might want it a little bit longer. If you really want that precise click where you want it like even shorter, I would just say go on the shorter path. To me, between 2 and 3 is perfect for my style of gameplay. Obviously, I'm no pro gamer or anything like that, but the way that this helps register that in those heated moments in an FPS makes a huge difference. I didn't think I could actually use a mouse that would actually make me a little bit better FPSs. I'm not a god or anything like that. I'm not a pro gamer, anything like that. I just want to have fun, be able to shoot stuff with my friends, and kind of go from there. But for this works for me. When you get into your rapid trigger, you could turn it on, and it also has the same thing. It has all your 3 settings here that you can kind of see. You can also share these hits codes with other people that are using the same mouse, so you could try to see what you want. My left and right click, I can have it turned on. For in this case, I'm just going to avoid it at the moment because I don't know how like how much Battlefield registers for this, and I obviously don't want to get banned for it, so I've been turning it off just since I heard that that news for the time being. You could totally do it. Now, one of my hands down favorite features that I actually kind of realized better on how it worked throughout the week, I've been adjusting the settings and see where I want. So when you normally click a mouse, like you're clicking any of your mice, right? Like, don't mind my mouse, it's a little dirty, but you kind of get, I don't know if y'all could hear this, but you could kind of get that click, right? So same thing in here, but it has like a more of a, like a subtle click. So as you go, and if you want to click, the clip haptics is where it's kind of, it changes it up on how you want to do everything. How strong you want that haptic to go is, you could literally go up. Like, for example, I'm going to go and say, I'm going to set it strong. And you could kind of get it. I don't know if the mic's picking it up, but. So you can get that click. Now, as you go down, the click gets weaker, because it's actually doing it via the software. And then if you go down to click haptics and you turn it off entirely, it has no click sound whatsoever. So like right now I have no click sound. I could go to the actuation point and you can kind of see I'm still clicking, but there's no click. I'll have to go and try to see if I can get a video of it later. Or maybe turn the sensitivity up or the noise gate down or something, but it's got no click sound whatsoever. So like I had mine actually down to like 1 or 2, so it has a little tiny click sound. But if you like those, if you, depending on how much you like that click sound and having that feature, like the tactile feel of it all, if you like it, go up stronger. I kind of sit between like the 1 and 2 range personally for my clicks. I want something very light that's not obviously going to wake up my partner when she's asleep or anything at night. But you sit there and have, you know, I mean, you get all the different stuff of it. I personally, for me, my style of gaming doesn't really like the thing. I like to register a click, so at least I know I'm clicking to some degree. With between the actuation point and click haptics, you can do all kinds of customizations on how you want to do it. This is why it's a shareable thing that you can do between the two features. But in the same time, feel free to ask questions if you guys have any questions, thoughts, concerns, whatever have you. There's all kinds of cool stuff you could do with the level of customization with this. As you can see, like you get all your different click strengths. You could do it for the left or the right mouse button. You can do them both at the same time. You kind of get that feeling of like how much click do you want. Like, oh, say if I wanted it only on the left side, I want to go a really strong click, which actually gives you a warning about higher power consumption, because it is generating that via like a little haptic system in the mouse. So like when you, let me see if I can just turn this up. Can you guys hear that? I've got it like shoved right up into. So you got that. So that's the highest level of click. Now, if I'm going down, see if I can get this one to catch. So it's got that little extra less click than it did. Like it just takes that clickiness quite a bit down. So there's a lot of different levels of it. For me and how it works in terms of the gaming stuff, phenomenal. Now, where I am with my level, like what I want with my mouse personally, if they could go through and make the G502X or a version of that with this feature, it'd be hands down the craziest thing ever. Like, does this increase resistance to the button press? Basically, yeah. So like that clickiness you get when you click your normal mouse, like that normally isn't tunable, whereas the X2 is completely tunable. So if you want like a higher click or a ratio, or at least have that feel of it, you can totally go and say, okay, hey, I want to go into the actuation point. If I want a long click and I want my click to register like with a full hard press, and you want to make that same thing and follow along with like the haptics on it too, that gives you that level of tunability. So it's a longer click, so you're making sure that you're doing your, like in cases like, for example, say an MMO or a strategy game or something like that, where you want to confirm that is the thing you want to do, versus like if you go on the opposite end and you want that actuation point smaller, and you want it for more like FPS style stuff where you're going to get the fastest immediate click ever into that whole thing. So like if you go in here, like your click point literally is like you're barely even tapping it. If you could see this on the screen here in the middle, you're just like bam, bam, bam. Like my average click is kind of like around that. Like I said, for me is that 3 or 4 point, kind of somewhere around here. So if I went here, it's just kind of, if I'm doing the shorter clicks, just making it faster, it's in that range. I kind of sit somewhere in between here, really. So you have those. Like this is increased resistance to the button press. Oh yeah, I think I just answered that. Sorry. Yeah, so like the haptics is kind of like, it's giving you that click tactile feeling to make sure that you're basically confirming what you're doing. Doesn't necessarily say push resistance, I guess. Maybe I'm framing that wrong or describing it wrong. It just gives you like the clicky and tactile feeling, and then also the actuation point where how much pressure you want to do it will do it. Like, so I guess in this case, it's not necessarily resistance, it's the pressure you're putting on it. If that makes sense. I don't know if they answered your question, Rising Angel. But yeah, you get a little bit of that hanging out. But so if you want to do to like Logitech G Hub, you could also go in and actually have you could tune your mouse to whatever game you're playing. And what you said is confusing. Yeah, I apologize. Yeah, so it's 2 things. It's actuation points, or how much pressure you're putting on it. It's not necessarily resistance, I guess, in this case. It's not resistance. So your pressure, how much pressure you're putting on the mouse for the actuation point. On the click haptics, it gives you the response. What is the response to your click? Is it you want it strong where it makes the tactile sound and it gives you that confirmation, or do you want basically no sound? You could go in here and press the mouse. Now, like I have it turned off, and I'm pressing the mouse and there's no tactile response. I'm just tapping the mouse. It looks like I'm tapping a dead mouse, at least the way it sounds, because there's no click response at all. Like I'm just tapping it. There's no click whatsoever. So it's more of the pressure, not necessarily resistance. Does that make sense? I apologize if that was confusing. It doesn't. I guess maybe it's a tactile thing. Like you have to feel it to kind of see. You're using the same words. I mean, it's those things, I guess, and it's the pressure you're putting on the mouse, like press. So in this case, my actuation point is literally how much pressure do I need to apply to have a click register. So if I'm pressing it, like for example, I'm barely touching it. Like you could just literally. So it's how much pressure you're putting on that press, right? As you can kind of see my hand and how much it's showing on the app. That's the pressure of my presses. Like how much, if I'm going and pressing hard, it's going to go all the way down. If I'm barely tapping it, I'm getting that. Now, in the case you're going with the haptics is literally like the sound or response to the press. So when you're going and pressing it, it's going to give you that tactile sound of what it is. It's the mouse generating that. It's not like the actual key. There's not a key press like there is on a traditional mouse. It is literally triggering that sound as you press it. So you press slightly and press more. Does that count as 2? No, it doesn't count as 2 unless you're doing the rapid trigger thing. Like your rapid trigger thing, if you got like your actuation point like super, super low, like say like 1 or 2, and you have the rapid trigger on, that can trigger multiple presses at the same time, which is what I think is getting people banned in like Apex and stuff like that. That's triggering these anti-cheat things because it's thinking you're pressing so fast. It has such a fast click time that it's insane. Is that essentially you get to act like a trigger and pull on an RTL? Yeah, kind of. Yeah, like so when you do like your PlayStation controller or even your Xbox controller, that like actual pressure you put on it is what they've applied in this mouse, which has never been done as far as I know. So it literally has, like, we're going to go back up here to the actuation point. It literally has the amount of pressure you want on that whole thing. So if you want it super light press or super long press, it's kind of the same thing. Like here's like, say I could kind of go and as I'm pushing it, it's the amount of pressure that I'm adding on to the mouse. Like that registers that click. Yeah, and I guess that's where I think Logitech has to probably talk a little bit more to the devs and say like, hey, this is a feature of our mouse. This is a pro level thing. Pro teams are using it for certain games and whatnot. Like, what can we do to make sure that this doesn't register as a cheat? Because it's not. I mean, I don't necessarily think it's a cheat. It's a hardware feature, right? Like, give you the best clicks ever. I guess in some ways, if you're like, oh, well, it's giving an unfair advantage to anybody else, well, I'm like, well, you could also buy the mouse and do that yourself, or it has to be down to like, if it comes down to where they're like, no, we can't absolutely do that, then that's a different situation. That's why I'm turning off the rapid trigger, because I don't want to register those double, triple clicks. I could see where it's useful in some scenarios like Counter-Strike or something like that, like those, or Valorant and those, but I guess you use for it in driving game night, in any driving game night. Yeah, like you could do it for pretty much anything. I mean, um, but yeah, like where I'm doing it, I'm doing a relatively short click because I do want that faster response time. And then without that, and I'm also doing the haptics where I'm like, I get that little bit of feel, and I do like the little bit of feel. No feel to me personally. This is just my preference. I don't like it with no sound. Like it's kind of weird. Like it feels like the mouse is not working, at least to me. So like I have to have some kind of level of it. At first I was like, I'm cranking this up. I thought it like vibrated or something like that, kind of like your rumble on your controller and stuff, and I was totally wrong about that. So this just gives you that clickiness. So it's like you're tuning your clickiness feel to the whole thing. And I kind of like it where it's like the smallest amount, so it's not distracting. And then I do like the actuation point where it's shorter, so I don't have to press very hard to do it. Now, if I were going to do rapid trigger, I'd probably like to make it sure I'm safe. I'd probably go somewhere in the middle because that's kind of where my natural actuation point is anyway. Like where that's the part where it registers that full click is at this line. Like that's the amount of pressure it's taking for me to register that click. And if I was going to do the rapid trigger, I'd probably have to set it a little lighter because I think what's happening is that people are setting this low click where you're barely even touching the mouse. Like literally, I could barely like put a finger on it, and it's registering that click. If that makes sense. So it's a little crazy in that regard. Unfortunately, I can't give away one of these, but we're going to be giving away some Logitech gear today. You do have to be present to win. There are some whole stipulations and everything with Logitech gear and all that, but we'll be giving away either your choice of a keyboard, mouse, or headset today. So depending on what you want, what you're looking for, we're going to have a variety of it. We try to tend to do these like at least once a quarter, thanks to Logitech G. Also in this whole thing, like Logitech G has been amazing. I love Logitech G for the stuff that they've releasing. They're a wonderful partner. And then thank you for them to sending us this mouse and multiple other peripherals over the years for checking it out and showing you all like what we can do with it and everything. But yeah, keep those questions coming in. Is there anything else I can answer on terms of like the hits configuration? Like this is really like the biggest thing that's released for this whole thing right here. So like I could turn on my my other mouse. So if we want to go and see kind of like what the option is, if you're going to go to the G502 Plus, this is kind of what you could do. Like it's pretty minimal in the same thing. Like you could kind of see this, it's charge time. You could change its profile, so you could change the effects, but there's not a lot of like tuning, so to speak. Whereas this, you're going to come in and you're going to make all of your DPI adjustments, do all the crazy stuff with it. So I don't know. Any thoughts, questions, concerns, anything like that? I'm happy to keep answering questions, at least the best I can for what I understand and have tested with this thing. So I'm going to sit here still. I'm going to go in this, like, yeah, let's go right here. I'll keep the rapid trigger off right now, but I'll show you all what it looks like in the game. Wired only, I assume? No, it's wireless, completely wireless. All using still the same light speed technology that they've been using with the Hero sensor and everything else. The weight versus G502, I have, let me dig through real quick. I think I have that slide. Let me go that. I think I have some slides that are related to that with the weights and everything. Un momento, por favor. Let me grab that because they did actually give us like the weight difference between all of the different items. So giving you an idea, this is on, oh, this is just the light speeds, or the Pro Series. So this gives you the idea on the Pro Series, what they look like. I know my camera's kind of holding it. Let me see if I can move my camera a little bit. Oop. Turn this off real quick. 1 second. So this gives you an idea. Yeah, I can't go back from Lightspeed either. I everything of mine is wireless now. Like I don't do anything else. Oops. But yeah, so this is what it looks like on the weight and everything. So 65 grams. We could look up the other one too. So we're looking at 65 grams for this. So the Dex is 60 grams. The Super Light 2, which is this other guy here, is 5 grams, 5 grams lighter. All still use the same Hero 2 sensor. You still have all the other fun stuff here. So you have a little bit of variation and whatnot. So there's that. Let's see, where is the weight of the Pro X2? Let's see if I can take that up real quick. Specs. So we're looking at 65 grams for the Pro X2 Super Light. We're looking at 106 grams on the G502X. So 106 grams G502X. Superlight X2 Superstrike is 65 grams. So almost like just under half of the weight. Both still have the Hero. Will have similar Hero sensors. But the G502X now is a couple years old, and this one's like brand spanking new. So about a little bit of difference. Same price point though, $179. As an example here, like we'll go back to this guy. So if we were going to do, I wish there was a compare option. So we're going to do this here and here. So we'll just give you guys a little bit more of the information. This is straight on Logitech G's deal. So we've got 106 grams here. We got Lightspeed Technology Hero 25K sensor. Then you have like your max speed tested and all that fun stuff, right? Resolution up to 25,600 DPI. You're going on this one. We're going to Hero 2 sensor instead of the 25K. You get 100 to 44,000 DPI. And you also have like, there's also wired report rate, so you can actually do a little bit higher on that if you wanted to. Where they don't show the weight on this page. Oh yeah, 61. Oh, 61 grams. Sorry, 61 grams. There's your max weight of that, and 106 grams here. So yeah, pretty similar. More weight obviously on the G502X. To me, I like a little bit of a heavier mouse personally. But the lightweight doesn't. I mean, it doesn't bother me at all. Like it just, you could fling this thing around so much more if you really wanted to. Both are USB-C, all that fun stuff. So you still have plenty of everything there. Yeah, tons of cool stuff. Any other thoughts, questions, anything else I can help answer in this regard? At least until we get ready to move on to some Battlefield. Yeah, the G502 series is like such an amazing mouse series. I love it. Like it's been The old original style even was phenomenal for what it was. I could never complain. All right. Well, no more questions, thoughts, concerns. We'll get ready and we'll head over into some Battlefield. Let me go and get that thing booted up real quick. But yeah, thanks again to Logitech G for sending this to us. It's been phenomenal. Like it's a really fun mouse to use overall. So far, it's been my main gaming mouse. I haven't switched back to my 502X yet so far. Just because I like, if I'm playing an FPS, like that's what I want to use because it's just good to do. Like I played with it between Battlefield. I've done it with Helldivers 2. I played a little bit High Guard with it. We did some Marvel Rivals the other night with it. We also played, like I've been trying out different games just to see what we could get. Obviously, slower paced stuff like Phasmophobia. We did, God, what was that other one? Oh, Space Marine 2. We played Space Marine 2, Where the Winds Meet. Just trying it with all kinds of different stuff. I mean, of course, even Eve is great, in my opinion. So, because so you can tweak it how much you want, depending on what you're doing. If you're somebody that like either has really super precise clicks, or you want something that's like you're fast paced, like for everything you're doing there. So there's all kinds of crazy stuff you could do with it. But yeah, let me go ahead and kick off the giveaway. Just keep in mind, folks, if you are here for the giveaway and you enter, I'm going to give you like 30 seconds or more to answer in the chat. You have to be present when the winner is called. If you're not here, I re-roll. There's not a chance to go back. So just to be clear on that. You are going to get your choice of Logitech items. So you get yourself either a keyboard, a mouse, or a headset, depending on what we have available from Logitech. So there's a lot of cool stuff there. So definitely go and check it out. But yeah. Why is this? Come on. It's like G700 to 2010 is still working for both personal and the work. Oh yeah, dude. Logitech stuff is like phenomenal in this regard. Wow, it's being weird. I always have to I play on an ultra wide monitor, so when I stream, I have to go back down to 2440 by 1440p or 2560 by 1440p, and it always tends to be weird sometimes when I change over to that resolution. So it's always kind of crazy. But yeah, dude, the Logitech stuff has always been like great and long lasting. I've still to this day have never broken a Logitech mouse. Like I've never used it to the point where it stopped working. Many moons ago, like when I switched away from Logitech because there was a weird quality issue for the time, I eventually switched off of Logitech just because like the mice were just like, I don't know, they just didn't feel great to use. And I switched to Razer for a little bit. I went through, no joke, in 3 years, I went through 4 different Razer mice because they would just not like stay alive. I would go one day and it would just not be working. Like it would work fine the night before. I'd reboot my computer and start the next day and it would die. And when they started releasing the 500 series again of the Logitech mice is when I came back and I was like, absolutely, I have to do this. Like this is what I